What is up, everybody? Welcome to Logical, Plausible, Probable pre-show for the second interview in our community that's going to be delivered by the one and only Smokey Saint and Tony. They're interviewing Dr. Fuzz Rana from Reasons to Believe. They're going to expand on the interview I had with him last night regarding abiogenesis. And they're going to be diving into some of the great things about protocells, their implausibility, microenvironments, and a variety of other factors in the abiogenesis conundrum that origin of life researchers currently find themselves in. And our atheist antagonists love to try and downplay and claim doesn't actually have bearing, shall we say, on evolutionary theory, even though it's chemical evolution and the logic applies all the way to now. All of that aside, hopefully they'll be having some good times and really being able to expand on the overall conversation. Now, anybody who wants to come in and talk about the stream that I had with them last night, kind of share any thoughts, different things that really struck you about last night's interview, and then your anticipation for tonight's interview over on Smokey Saint's channel. The link to join the stream is in the description. I'm posting it in chat as we speak, and you're welcome to come on and share your thoughts. Something I was gonna hit on when I get started on this. Well, it'll come back to me anyway. Oh, I know I was going to show you guys. So I came across this is actually in preparation for my debate with Godless Engineer on Sunday. I was at Walmart getting some other stuff, and I came across a couple shirts that I just could not resist purchasing. And this one, actually, wore one the other night, but this one just cracked me up. It says, "Not today, Satan." I thought that was hilarious. As I was walking past, I said, "Oh man, I got to acquire this." It's too good of a saying, and I think it'll be entertaining to leverage this in some of the live streams. Not today, Satan. Javier, thanks so much for coming in. Yeah, man, I saw your what you're talking about with Joe Biden picking Kamala Harris to be his vice presidential candidate. Wow. Honestly, I think that man he's jumped the shark picking her. I mean, talk about a extraordinarily easy target for the opposition. I mean, that's just a wow. Can't get over that pick. It's a crazy one. But anyway, so back to the whole purpose of this stream, which is to talk about the upcoming in 40 minutes. Smokey and Tony will be going live with their debate with Dr. Fuzz Rana on abiogenesis chemistry. And Lord Pudding, who seems to be in the room, man, you should probably go and watch that interview because it really might help you in some of the misconceptions you seem to have. And perhaps you can offer some questions to school Dr. Rana on the chemistry. But man, I really have to ask you in terms of, are you doing okay mentally? Because you've been doing live streams about me personally, and you seemed very concerned about the fact that I wasn't wearing a baseball cap and had a shaved head, and that somehow my mental state might be suffering, or I might be, mentally unstable, and that perhaps I'm now a danger to people because I now have a shaved head. My head's actually been shaved. I'm wearing a baseball cap. But I don't really understand how in the middle of summer in Tennessee, where it's heat index of 102, why having my head shaved would really be worthy of an entire, actually not one, but two streams. I mean, wow, dude. It's, I know you're obsessed with me, but wow, discussing my haircut. I'm kind of entertained by that dumbassery. But hey, do what you do, man. It's all good. Anyway, like I said, anybody wants to come in and discuss this stuff, here is the link to join the the stream. Oh man, it looks like we got the one and only Smokey Saint is in the house. What's going on? Man, doing pretty good. I bet you're getting pumped about your upcoming live stream interview with Dr. Rana.
Oh yeah, man, I'm super excited. Your interview yesterday with him was just awesome, and we're just gonna pound some of that other stuff home in terms of the absolute failures. Well, basically, not really even so much failures. I think the fact that just abiogenesis is nothing but religion. It's no science. You know, the idea of life naturalistically coming out of nothing is just pipe dreams and wishful thinking of, you know, intellectual degenerates. So, hi, pudding.
Oh, hey, Smokey, since you're here, I don't know if you caught my little short rant about pudding being triggered by my haircut.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Did you see that portion though, like the segment of that where he was implying that if I was having mental problems, they were the result of having association with you? Did you pick up on that?
I actually did not. Apparently, I should have watched that a lot closer. I caught the more of the tail end of it to come in and criticize him for being as bold as to go ahead and start a stream about what one of his opponents look like and think that he was actually saving face for anything other than making him look ridiculous and petty. But you know, that's what you.
Here's the thing that really struck me about it more than anything is so. I'm actually both of my grandfathers were cue balls, right? So I'm starting to get a little bit of male pattern baldness. The top of the head starting to thin, and I'm kind of getting to that point of like, okay, number one, it's summertime. Number two, it's hot. Number three, getting like haircuts and stuff with all the COVID madness is a really serious pain in the butt. And so a couple, a month, 2 months ago, when the barbershops, at least here in Nashville, were completely shut, like you could not get a haircut at all.
Right.
I decided, screw it. My hair was like ridiculously long. I was like, okay, I'm done. Just cut it. And now, because it's like I did a live stream and I wasn't wearing a hat. Oh my goodness gracious. John must have been triggered to turn it. I think like he's kind of alluding to the fact that maybe I'm like leaning towards a Nazism or something. I don't get it, man. Am I being accused of being a skinhead? Is what it's kind of what I think I'm taking from this.
Pudding has well, we already know Pudding has pretty much next to nil critical thinking skills. He's yet to even provide a coherent argument for his dumpster fire of a worldview. So his critique of you should probably be taken with a grain of sand, as is most likely appropriate. The opinions of nonsensical, half-baked, brain-dead gutter trash should not bother you whatsoever. So.
Well, it didn't really bother me. I just it's more from like just an observational perspective.
Of course, no, and I'm glad you observed it
because the other thing that was that he apparently derived from the fact that I have a shaved head, associate with Smokey Saint, and stated that I would give no quarter in debates. That somehow that equals a potential violence that could be coming from me. I mean, I'm not really having to paraphrase too much. Like the aspect of violence in relation to using the words no quarter in my opening statement to
loved it.
Godless Engineer. Somehow that implied violence. And since you listened, you were moderating that debate. Was there really, do you think anybody actually interpreted the fact that I was implying violent action?
Only if you're a spineless soy-based snowflake.
Well, perhaps. Andrew, what's going on, man? Welcome to the
not much, buddy.
The stream.
Yeah, just thought I'd join in and see what was happening, doing and ahhing whether I should, but
you're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. So the whole purpose of this pre-stream or pre-show, actually, obviously, is to talk about the upcoming Dr. Rana interview that Smokey's having along with Tony. Did you catch my interview with him last night?
I was there. I tried to ask the first question, but I don't know if it got through.
Oh, okay. So somebody, when they were this is why I guess I can't use a stupid Google sheet or a Google Sheets document for this. Somebody had your name was still there, and your next to your name it was blank.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking whoever was messing with, like, whatever idiot put a graph on top of everything, they probably erased your question. We might guess. What was the question?
The question was something along the lines of, are there any weaknesses to his worldview
Gotcha.
that he sees?
Gotcha. Yeah. Somebody else asked I think it was Caleb, maybe. He asked a similar question. But hey, you get a second round debate or interview tonight. So you can ask
I might get Smokey to ask him something along those lines if he could.
so Smokey, make sure to look out for Andrew's question.
I'll have to keep an eye open for it.
Well, so what from the interview last night? Were there any things that really stood out to you and kind of struck you as like, I hadn't thought about this before, or that's profound, or I don't really care about this? What was your take on it?
The whole thing is vastly new to me as I'm a 1996 high school graduate. So basically, evolution was briefly discussed in some of my grade 8 levels, but I never actually did science beyond grade 8. So which is effectively the first year of high school for me. So it's all new, it's all eye-opening, and it actually is pretty funny. I mean, I have two brothers who about 5, 6, maybe even 7 odd years ago finally decided that Christianity isn't for them, and they have all the arguments for it, and the Bible's wrong and the Bible's false and all the rest of it. And of course, I get accused of only talking religion every now and again, and I can't argue scientifically. So I thought, oh crap, I've got to suddenly get a grip on top of all of this science stuff.
Well, no, man, that's actually very interesting. You're not alone by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, we talk to people like that all the time. I mean, the example of your personal story is one of the reasons, as I started to running into more and more people with very similar scenarios that you just described, whether it be they were the brother that decided that everything was wrong, or the brother who's like, well, I'm not sure, but I better go find out. That seems to be it seems to be a trend. Like, it's a very rapidly growing trend, and people either find their faith again, or many of them do dramatic 180s and become hardcore atheists and atheist activists.
Oh yeah, they did the hardcore 180. They became hardcore atheists. Christianity, we don't even talk about it. Don't talk about it around me. Don't talk religion, don't talk Christianity specifically. But I was just trying to think of the other ways, because I mean, they started a band, so that's basically a be all and end all.
Well, in what I found, and I know Smokey can attest to this, and the majority of us that engage in this kind of stuff on a regular basis, what we really have identified is the vast majority of atheists claim to have understanding, and they claim to know why everything else is wrong, right? And they're correct.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
But when you actually begin to question their standard talking points, you rapidly begin to recognize that the vast majority of them don't have a clue about the underlying substance requirements for the position they're claiming is 100% correct.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And this extrapolates out even to people that are further up the food chain in terms of from an educational perspective and supposed expertise and such. They might have a lot of knowledge in this one very narrow area. Yeah. But then when they looking at it from the big picture is they don't have a clue. And when they're questioned about, okay, well, how does your little sliver actually fit into the macro? Most of them don't have no idea whatsoever. And it's like, well, okay, so you're claiming your little tiny viewpoint proves this gigantic mural.
Yeah, okay, absolutely.
I say no. Have you observed that same type of problem?
Yeah, that's the general view in Australia as well. Anyway, but I came across this book. Where are we? Darwin on Trial. Philip E. Johnson. Highly recommend it. It's a legal viewpoint. And my dad's a lawyer, so I have an understanding of the legal side of things. And that actually started to open my eyes into what are the things. And among the things that he actually says in that book is ignorance does not become information, even if you use evolution.
That is a very true. That's very true. So I read his book. I forgot about that. I read his book probably several years ago, and I actually forgot about that one. That was a very good one. That was a great one.
Mm. Unfortunately, he died in 2014, so he can't write any more books.
Yep. Oh man, Nicholas has joined us. He's showing off his beard again, rubbing in the fact that the two other guys on camera have shaved heads, and showing off his curls and his beard. Okay, man, I see how it is.
Well, I
had a beard for a while too.
On camera, so I figured I'd go ahead and be on camera since it's like.
Well, I know the other day you were talking about how you don't like being the only one on camera. So now that the three of us are making Smokey the minority, I guess it's okay for you to be on camera.
That was part of it too.
Apparently,
to like sort of spotlight that Smokey won't put himself on camera. So
I have to get a little bit bigger so that a face reveal would be actually auspicious.
Okay, so basically what that translates into is Smokey's ego is growing to such a level that until he thinks he's going to have the appropriate amount of appreciation when he unveils himself, he's just going to hold back and leave the rest of us.
Syndrome.
I wonder, Don, do your assumptions say as much about us, or do they say more about you?
About me?
Your assumptions about us. Like,
what do you mean? I'm talking about Smokey.
Well, the last thing I need.
Oh, wait, hang on, Nicholas. Are you saying that you're the actual physical projection of Smokey? Because you just acted like the two of you are conjoined. Like he just laughed and your mouth did. I think your mouth was moving.
That's a magic trick there.
Are you guys okay? I got it. It makes sense now.
Nicholas, yeah, I'm Nicholas's evil half. That's what it is. I'm the side of him that he's so sweet and endearing all the time. So he needs to let me out of the box every once in a while.
Over my left shoulder, apparently.
Actually,
there's something I want to. Well, we can continue joking. There's something I'm going to say to Smokey.
Okay, well, great. Before you say that, so I think I've just discovered how the Smokey Saint and Nicholas half and half is working. Smokey is actually the ventriloquist dummy that is projected by Nicholas. That's how he's able to not be moving while Smokey's talking. That's exactly what's happening. I got it. And we have Gavin that just joined the room. Hey, Nick, before you ask Smokey your question, Gavin, I know you're down under as well and sometimes operate on a delay. The floor is yours, sir. We'll go on delay timeout. Go ahead.
Shalom. Apologies for the delay. How is my sound?
All good.
We can hear you, Gavin. You hear good, brother. Go ahead.
Shalom. Shalom. Cool. Oh, cool. Hey, just to humor you guys. Speed of Pudding is in the chat, and Speed of Pudding agreed to debate me tomorrow on Wednesday after viewing a debate of mine because he wanted to ascertain my level of knowledge. Apparently, my level of knowledge was acceptable to him, but now he has pulled out of the debate without explanation.
No surprises.
Well, haven't you noticed that that's one of the things he apparently studies up on is how to dodge debates. It's one of his expertise. It certainly isn't abiogenesis because he can't make a coherent argument for that. So I think it's actually dodging debates is a specialty. Well, speaking of which, by the way, let me ask just a quick question before Nicholas asks me mine. Just a quick question to everyone in the room. What type of mockery would we be prone to, likely to get, and probably have earned if we were to do a short little stream to do nothing but talk about the appearance of another person and our impression that their appearance might make them be giving the impression that they are mentally unwell or unstable? What type of mockery and just shame would be thrown at us, and for rightfully so, for being so asininely stupid as to make a stream about an opponent over nothing but their appearance and your impressions of their mental state due to it? Just curious.
Yeah, well, as a man who lives with Asperger's syndrome and epilepsy, which are unfortunately both very much hidden, and I was only diagnosed at age 22 with Asperger's syndrome, by which time all treatments were aimed at kids, so it was definitely way too late for me to do anything about it, and that still remains the case today. I just have to blunder my way through, in all honesty. So the level of mockery that I get is extremely high.
Yeah, see, that's what you do, Speed, because that's the only thing apparently you have is mockery about people's appearance. I think Maddox just had one of the most stellar stinking debates I've ever seen against Godless Engineer, and you are so petty, so lowly, such inferior, grotesque, subhuman character that you can't even give him credit for what was actually a masterful performance, because you are just that much of a garbage human being, Speed. I'm just glad to say that. And I'm glad that he presented it. And I'm glad he was stupid enough to put a stream out there to show what type of garbage he actually is. Thanks for that. Appreciate it, stream.
And Smokey, it wasn't just one stream. They followed up on it with The Walking Fish and Immutable Destiny and a couple other people, I think.
Oh, did they? With the same thing? Oh, lovely.
That evening, they did a whole like review, I guess, of the debate, but also inserted the I must be unstable because of my
riveting, meaningful content there, Speed. You're really aiming high, aren't you? You're not trying to earn that reputation that I've attributed to you for being a trash can human being. Well played, sir. Well played.
Now, here's a question. As Jeff Durbin might say, fish became philosophers. How so?
Oh, apparently it's matter in motion that isn't really in motion because of quantum mechanics or some answer like that. That's apparently the solution to all of that.
Okay. Now
I ain't going down that rabbit hole.
All right, now I think that Nicholas may be reaching the point where he's about to turn off his webcam if we don't let him talk.
No, Nicholas.
So Nicholas
had a question for me.
Go ahead. The floor is yours. Ask Smokey saying your question, but you got to leave the camera on while you do so.
Yeah, I'm patient. I was actually thinking, what I have to say, the later the better, and I know you guys will let me say it. But because it's about you, Smokey, and you said that super special stream with Buzz Rana, and I just love how when you get these really qualified experts who've spent so many thousands of hours earning their credentials, and they're so humble to come into our community and do this for us and do this for you, and you're so grateful and you say that it's super special. I just love how you do that. I think that's really awesome.
Well, I appreciate that, Nicholas. I'm actually kind of glad that shined through because it is super special. And you know what? You summarized it beautifully. These men are highly accomplished, have spent their entire lives gaining this incredible amount of knowledge and expertise, and they're willing to, and I believe the spirit of Christ and the humbleness of Christ, to come and offer themselves to contribute to a tiny, humble platform like my own. Yes, absolutely. I'm blown away with gratitude and appreciation. And so, yes, you're right. It is definitely qualify as a super special stream. Amen, brother. Amen. Beautiful point.
Well, we'd really to expand on that a little bit in terms of the, the humility of these folks that are coming on and talking with us. Like Dr. Rana, for example, before he went to work for Reasons to Believe, he was a researcher at a Fortune 500 company, creating cool stuff, right? The things of real merit and value, and he humbly talks about it. But no, this was so you were recognized as a brilliant chemist, and they saw reasonable expectation that you had hiring you will have return on investment for the company. That's saying something about your brilliance. And just kind of downplay that, right? But then on the flip side, we get atheists to talk about how unless you have been one of those people, then they're just going to dismiss whatever it is you have to say, even if your argument is derived directly from the language and the arguments made by those exact types of people. And I'm like, how does that make any sense? On one side, we're supposed to respect the argument And then on the flip side, if you use the argument from these people, if it doesn't match up with their worldview, then everything they just said about the credibility of that those types of individuals flies out the window. Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah, intolerance.
And let me say this, just in compensation for all of Speed of Pudding's trash talk. I actually really like the new look. I like that you did the new look on the night that you had one of the most epic opening statements that I have ever seen in my entire life. And especially leading with "there is no quarter." It's like you went into like a back room somewhere and did some sort of like warrior training and came out and you're like, "I'm ready to fight now." It was just, you know what? It was an epic moment. It was incredible. All the theists loved it, appreciated it, thought you were a freaking rock star, pounding out that opening the way you did and managing yourself throughout the debate. So this is all just butthurt. This is all, they have nothing to go at you against. They have nothing to attack your arguments. So what do? They act like petty garbage and they go after your appearance because it's all they got.
Well, I guess I'll just have to subjugate my ego.
I'll keep fluffing it a little bit here and there. I know you do the same.
Well, I tell you what, it was interesting earlier. I was actually rewatching the debate and actually reading the live chat. Man, that was reading the live chat was almost as entertaining as listening to the debate again.
Right. Especially the Diet Coke portion. Oh, dude, I was struggling. I was struggling to keep it together.
Well, the fact that he continued to be to keep trying to double down on it wasn't really a code after the opening statement. It's like, dude, just concede that you were wrong on this one. I mean, every time you double down, you're just literally giving me an opportunity to strike you through the heart. I mean, every time. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it. My mind was blown. I'm like, there's no way. I mean, I figured he would be crushed after the opening statement. I mean, I figured that because it's like anybody with half a brain is going to recognize that their entire fundamental argument has just been absolutely annihilated. And
Maddox Standing wants to know what you thought about the opening that you got catch for about when we were chatting.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, there was some talk that was happening from another stream the other night, and I was not associated with this. I found out, I got to listen to it later. Oh man, I was driving down the road, started listening to this. It was the funniest. It was SFT and Smokey talking about the debate. I have not laughed that hard in quite some time. Should we tell people where it is, or let them go listen to it, or we want to keep
it? He removed it. He was so ashamed. He removed it. Yes, he had to, dude. There's no way he was going to let that sit there.
So the person who won't be named at this point, he removed it.
He removed it.
Oh man, that was too good. I wonder if.
Which, by the way, kind of really hilarious that he felt the unction to remove it. That just tells you something.
Well, so Smokey Offer, I'll have to send you what I came extraordinarily close to sending to his wife after the.
Oh yes, share.
Because she was talking some mad trash about me in the live chat. Major trash.
Oh, I saw a lot of it. Yes, I was monitoring chat pretty intensely for most of it. Well, and it was her question I pulled because she was basically throwing a bunch of trash and talking about, I don't know, it's something stupid questions or something. I don't know. She was talking some sort of garbage on and on. And then she asked, finally made a statement in the form of a question to you. So I just grabbed it. Okay, thank you for your question. Okay, Maddox will take it. No problem. And it was so awesome. It was so awesome to see Godless Engineer act like such a spineless snowflake in front of the not even really was an ad hominem, basically asking him if his breakfast had basically chemically processed into his brain thinking for that day, which isn't even really an ad hominem at all. Just a question about the chemical process, see if he grabbed it. And he automatically jumps to ad hominem. I'm not going to address it. And then I throw it at Maddox. And what does Maddox do? Like a bull. He just charges right at it. Okay, yeah, no, we this is how us theists roll. We'll take these insults and we'll run right at him and we'll make an example of you. I was really proud of you, bro.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that was a Well, I'll put you this way: I actually, so my parents watched the debate last night. Okay,
Oh, nice.
so I knew my mom was going to, so I had to make sure to kind of like keep myself in check a little bit because, and like not, drop too vicious of insults and such because I knew my mother would, agree with that. And sure enough, actually, this afternoon I was actually over at my parents' house, and my mom after we're sitting there talking, and son, in the future, you really just need to be nicer to people. And, you don't have, you can still, be direct, but, don't use, such strong language sometimes. I was kind of cracking up. I'm like, Mom, I knew you were watching, so I was actually nicer than normal. But then she's like, well, and I watched the after show.
Just show her one of my debates, and she'll never criticize you again.
So apparently, my mother actually tuned into some of the after show on Nephilim Freeze channel, and apparently she was still awake when I was talking about my adventure in Mississippi on the way back from New Orleans. And she's like, you really don't want to be sharing that sort of thing with the public. I'm like, Mom, listen, I didn't actually clearly delineate what actions I had taken. It just implied some things, but I didn't actually specify what exactly I did. So I took that into account. She's like, okay,
safe by inference, Your Honor. I'm not guilty by inference.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time, but in the context of the debate, looking back on it now, I'm like, I was too nice. There was too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were spot on. I think not going too overboard is good. So maybe that was like a blessing from God that your mom watching it kind of kept you in check. But I think you were spot on with what you did do, because what he said about no one except creationists have ever said that, ever. He used ever 3 times. It was a total lie. He never apologized. That is just completely unacceptable behavior. And then the whole thing was just so stupid. And the fact is that abiogenesis is impossible, and there is proof God exists, and that's important. There is healing in that because Jesus Christ made him obvious. And so, that does need to be put to that kind of shame. He is without excuse. You were right.
Amen, Nicholas.
Well said.
I love it.
And before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, a little tidbit of trivia knowledge that I happen to have derived, which I think actually supports Nicholas's position, was in the chat. I actually happened to notice that his wife said that he was a computer and software engineer.
No.
Yes.
And he didn't want to admit it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That can't be true.
Oh, yes. That is exactly what she stated.
It would have been embarrassing for him to admit it because his argument was being put to such brutal shame as it should have been.
Well, his wife.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so he has a whole argument about not knowing what coding or information is, but he's software engineer
per his wife. Yes.
I would have thought he knew better than that.
Are we sure he's a software engineer, or he's not like the guy at the software engineer office that asks riddles before people walk in? Are we sure he's not that guy?
No, I have a buddy who's in charge of software engineers, and sometimes he's really good at what he does, and he's the manager, and you got to deal with idiots because you need a lot of man hours, and so being a software engineer and getting paid for it doesn't mean you're awesome at it. And also, like I said, he wouldn't admit it because he was embarrassed that he was making an argument that no software engineer should ever make.
Well said. But yes, that was it. Okay, so you remember when I called him out okay, so what kind of engineer are you? And he kept trying to block it, dodge it, wouldn't answer.
Yeah,
in the live chat, people kept asking it, and finally his wife said he's a computer and software engineer. And when I saw that in the live chat, my mouth fell open. I'm like, oh
my God.
I didn't see that during the debate. I wish I had. If I would have seen that during the debate, oh my goodness gracious. Ugh.
Nicholas's statement of having no excuse takes a whole new meaning now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Smokey, you know you only have 8 minutes.
Oh, yes, I should probably head over there. Thank you for reminding me. Appreciate it. Try to make a coffee, too, before we get started. Okay, outstanding, guys. Well, thank you so much. Well, then I will see you over there. Thank you so
All
much,
right,
gentlemen.
Smokey, we
Thank
will
you
wrap
for,
this up here shortly and send everybody over to your stream. So be
Good
ready,
luck,
man.
brother.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you over there. Thanks so much for doing the pre-show, Maddox.
Of
Appreciate
course, man.
that.
Anytime.
All right, man. Talk to you guys later.
Chris, what's
See
up,
you,
bro?
Smokey.
Welcome to the
Hey,
stream.
buddy, what's going on? I was out in the heat all day today, so I got a heat headache. So
Oof.
coming
I
off
feel
of
you.
it, actually.
Oof. You get that?
You
Did
just
you
talked
rehydrate?
about that heat index. It's pretty hot right now, and well, I know it's hotter in the on your side of the state, but it's pretty hot over here too.
Man, it was heat index yesterday was 102. It was brutal.
Yeah,
That's high.
yeah. I generally
Yeah.
try to avoid getting out in the daytime, man, but I just had to do too much to do at night.
Well,
But
I know you got to see the interview last night. What are your thoughts about tonight? You going to get your question about salad dressing in?
yeah, I copied and pasted it, and now that I know they're going over what you just the sale and everything, the proto sale, that's probably a better time to hold on to it. So, yeah, I got it saved. I actually at first when you guys put his name down, I didn't recognize his name, and then I remembered that I did watch. I didn't know not who he was, but I did see a response from Dr. Mark Armitage to him. So apparently they had a little. I don't know if they talked to each other, interacted or not, but Mark Armitage made a video responding to him, which I have no problem with. He's an old Earth creationist, and and Marcus a young Earth. So, but he didn't ever refute any of his points. So he made a little like booklet. Have you saw that little book he made?
I haven't.
I forget. I get the name of it real quick.
And this was Armitage, or this was Rana?
The Rosanna.
Gotcha.
It wasn't nothing personal. He just mentioned his name. I think the way he took offense where he said like some young Earth creationist will. I think the reference he made was like to Ripley's Believe It or Not, and they'll take some things, and then he mentioned his name like a couple sentences after that, like called his name out in the book. So he had to make a response video to it, and if you've looked into Dr. Armitage's work, it's pretty solid. You know what I mean? But now, granted, Dr. Rosen, he's a PhD, so he's definitely like Nick said, put the hours in, so he knows this stuff forward and backwards. It's just a fundamental disagreement, on the age of the Earth, and that's fine, because I'm not necessarily tied to a certain age, but I just don't. It's hard for me after looking. I have really studied on the tissue evidence and the osteocytes, and it's pretty hard to deny that, or not to just to brush it off, without really addressing it. It's kind of it was kind of, I don't know. I think he probably should have came at him personally, and made either a video or maybe called him personally and exchanged emails, talked about that. That's all good.
Yeah, true. David, okay, so we only got like 2 minutes left. We're going to wrap this one up and head on over to Smokey's channel for round 2 of the interviews with Dr. Rana. So what would you like to share? Any things from last night, things you're looking forward to tonight, or just whatever's on your mind, man?
I just wanted to come in and say hello to you and hello to Nicholas. Just wanted to say hi to everyone. From what I've listened to so far, it was a great interview. Just wanted to remind you, guys, either later tonight or tomorrow, I'll be having my debate with Mr. Batman on the topic, what are the foundations for science?
All right, and then if you, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, which channel is that going to be going down on?
Standing for Truth.
Okay.
It'll probably be, if it's tonight, it'll probably be around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm just waiting to confirm with Mr. Batman to see if that time is okay with him, because we have to do a little bit of time switching with because Praise is moderating for MDD.
Gotcha.
So it's definitely going to be a good topic.
Awesome. Well, we will look. And you said the topic's going to be, what is the foundation of science?
Yeah, what are the foundations for science?
Okay. Got it. Well, that sounds
Right.
like a good one. Well, I guess we'll wrap up on that note, everybody. Everybody head on over to Smokey's channel. I'm putting it's the link is in the description. I'm also putting it in chat right now. Go over to Smokey's channel. It's time to wrap this one up. Everybody head on
John,
over.
you did do an excellent job interviewing yesterday, though. By the way, I mean, really did. I'm gonna just say that.
Thanks,
I mean,
man.
that was poised, and I mean, like, I'm not very good at that kind of stuff, so I was impressed. So,
Man, I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much.
I know Smokey's gonna kill it tonight, so it's gonna be great.
Smokey and Tanner are going to rock and roll. So, all right, everybody, head on over. And as you listen to the interview with Dr. Rana, as they discuss some of the amazing aspects of the conundrum that is abiogenesis, make sure that the conclusions you reach are logical, plausible, and probable. Have a great night, y'all.